News headlines. Any US provocation illegal move against Iran will be dealt with firmly armed forces. Zarif to Pompeo. Iranians decide their destiny. Iran issues first permit for exporting COVID-19 test kits. Coronavirus latest. World Health Organization warns to the worst is yet ahead. Millions of women and girls at the risk of violence and unintended pregnancies during lockdowns. Any US provocation illegal moves against Iran will be dealt with firmly armed forces. The General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces says that the presence of the United States and its allies in the West Asia region has been the source of insecurity of regional countries, warning that any provocative move by US forces will be met with Iranian armed forces categorical responses. In a statement issued on Monday, the General Staff of Iranian Armed Forces said high-risk behaviors which make shipping in regional waters insecure have started since the advertised and terrorist country of America and some of its allies came to this sensitive region. That has been repeatedly announced, the Islamic Republic of Iran has never initiated and will never start any tension and conflict in the region, but will always defend its territorial integrity with preparedness, strength, and power, Iran's high military body said, adding, any act of adventurism, harassment, and provocation will be met with the Iranian armed forces, decisive response, and hostile forces, including the US, will be responsible for consequences. The Islamic Republic strongly believes that the regional countries have necessary capabilities to maintain security in the Persian Gulf, the strategic Strait of Hormuz, and the Sea of Oman, and guaranteeing the security of energy flow through the region, the statement said. False extra-regional coalitions led by the US will not only fail to help ensure stability and security in this region, but will also disrupt regional order and security, the statement pointed out. It said the US precarious presence and its establishment of military bases in the region have been the root cases of insecurity, illegal moves, and acts of mischief, adding that the Islamic Republic has repeatedly warned international bodies Washington's destabilizing moves which run counter to international laws and regulations. The armed forces advises the US allies to abide by Iran's regulation as well as international rules. Any acts of adventurism, measures in violation of principle of safe navigation, and providing false accounts of their provocative behaviors while passing through Iran's territorial waters, it said. The statement noted that the military forces of US and its allies need to withdraw from region and allow regional countries to establish security in cooperation with each other as the sole secure way to enforce peace and stability in the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and the Sea of Oman. Zarif to Pompeo. Iranians decide their destiny. Iran's Foreign Minister Zarif has reacted to recent reports that his American counterpart is preparing a legal argument that the US is still a participant to the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran, warning that the American side that the Iranian nation is sole party that can decide the country's fate. Zarif made the remarks in a tweet on Monday after a Sunday report by the New York Times said Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is preparing a legal argument that the United States remains a participant in the Iran nuclear, according to the US President Donald Trump has announced. The American daily added that the new plan is part of an intrigued strategy to pressure the United Nations Security Council to extend an arms embargo on Tehran or see far more stringent sanctions reimposed on the country. The Fox News channel also reported on Monday that this plan would give the US standing at the United Nations Security Council to push the extant arms embargo on Iran expiring in October and restore sanctions for Iran's violation of the deal. In reaction to US media reports, Zarif made a reference in his Monday tweet to a US presidential memorandum released on May 8, 2018, in which Trump's administration declared its decision to case the country's participation in the nuclear deal, officially known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (GCPO), and take additional action to counter what it called Iran's malign influence in the West Asia region. Ever since getting the nuclear deal in May 2018, Trump has been running what he refers to as a maximum pressure campaign, which seeks to pressure Iran into negotiating a new deal that addresses its ballistic missile program and regional influence. Iranian officials, however, say it was Washington that left GCPO, although the international and multilateral deal was endorsed by the UN Security Council in the form of Resolution 2231. Tehran says talks with Washington are impossible as the latter is pressing ahead with its hostile policy and refuses to lift sanctions against the Islamic Republic. Iran issues first permit for exporting COVID-19 test kits. Iran's Vice President for Science and Technology says the country has issued its first permit for the export of serologic test kits used to diagnose patients affected with the new coronavirus disease. Serena Satari made the remarks in a video conference meeting with the President Hassan Rouhani on Monday, which was also attended by directors of Iranian science and technology parks. Explaining about the achievements of Iran's science and technology parks, Satari said, many products which are currently being produced in Iran for diagnosis and treatment of coronavirus could not be made before. We reached a final decision with the Iranian Minister of Health this week to issue the permit for the export of serologic test kits for the diagnosis of coronavirus, and its first batch of these kits will be exported later in the week. The Iranian Vice President also emphasized that the country has become needless of importing most medical products related to the coronavirus. Earlier on Monday, Iran's health ministry said the country has recorded a two-digit rise in the number of new coronavirus cases for the first time in more than a month, which indicates the declining curve of COVID-19 disease in the country. The government has said it would exhaust all its resources to ensure there would be sufficient protective gear and vital equipment to respond to the outbreak in the country. Earlier in April, an Iranian university researcher said domestically developed coronavirus diagnostic test kits, allied with ventilators and virus-killing face masks, will soon enter the mass production stage. Diagnostic kits, anti-coronavirus masks, and light ventilators developed by the researcher at Shahid Beheshti University will soon be mass-produced and put on the market, added Babak Shakuri, a research deputy at the university. Coronavirus latest, World Health Organization warns the worst is yet ahead. World Health Organization Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warned on Monday that the worst is yet ahead of US in the coronavirus outbreak. Let's prevent this tragedy. It's a virus that many people still don't understand, he said. The warning comes as some countries in Europe are set to ease lockdown measures this week, while others such as the UK continue in lockdown with no plan made public for easing of restrictions. Europe's worst affected countries, France, Spain, and Italy, which have all seen more than 20,000 people die as a result of COVID-19, are registering falling numbers of sick and death after weeks of rising numbers. Italy, for the first time on Monday, recorded fewer current coronavirus cases, 108,237, which is 20 fewer than the day before. France had fewer hospitalization but saw their death toll rise to above 20,000 as the Director General of Health warned that the epidemic was very deadly despite some hopeful progress. 5 million of women and girls at risk of violence and unintended pregnancies during lockdowns. The United Nations Population Fund has warned that the coronavirus pandemic could spell disaster for women's rights around the world. It says lockdowns and its closures designed to contain the spread of COVID-19 critically undermine progress made in family planning, as well as cause an increase in child marriage and female genital mutilation. It's a catastrophic situation, UNFPA Executive Director Natalia Kanem told Euronews. It's a catastrophic situation, UNFPA Executive Director Natalia Kanem told Euronews. Given the women and girls were already at a disadvantage when it came to contraception, now that we have learned the COVID-19 pandemic, on the top of that, we are calculating the millions of women and girls around the world are going to be at risk of violence. Thanks for watching our video till the end. If you want to support us, don't forget to subscribe our channel. God bless.